Hi, I'm Christine McKay with Northridge Publishing, and we have a special guest with us today, Sue
Christine.
Neal. Hey, how you doing?
I'm great.
For those of you that live in the Utah area, or if you have access to Studio 5, which is a local morning life and style show, Sue is a familiar face. You are just kind of a little celebrity around here.
Hardly.
So
but
talented,
I have fun.
so talented. And not only do you do Studio 5, you also have been published in dozens and dozens of idea books as well as publications, and you teach classes as well.
I do, yeah. That's been my real fun thing I've been doing for the last, well, I did it for 4 years, kind of through the country, and now I'm just doing it locally. So less flying for me, which is wonderful, and I have a lot of fun with that. It's great.
Well, you know, I've told you before, one thing that I love about you is that you take all of these really elegant designs and you break it down for the average user.
Yeah. And, you know, people love that. They see it, they want to make it, and they just come to a class, and I really keep it simple for them. And I tell everybody, these classes are for beginners, like people who have never made a card, and I always make sure I know who they are. And then for people who are experienced card makers. I love that. What hobby is that it can go from beginner to experience?
Completely, but I love that you give the tips for that as well. Okay, so I decided to challenge Sue, which
I have some tips.
which I'm embarrassed to say, it wasn't that much of a challenge for such a pro like you. But one of the things that you and I have talked about is there's a dirty little word in the industry called scrap lifting. And basically it's using somebody else's design and making it your own. I love it. I'm all about that.
Absolutely.
I am all about that. And here at Northridge, this right here is our October issue, which, you know, Halloween is by far my favorite. But that is what we really encourage. We love to have a starting off point with these layouts and these different projects for people to take a look at and be inspired and to make it their own.
Absolutely.
So I asked
so many
you,
ideas in here. I love this book.
I do too. So I asked you to take part of this, and the layout that I gave you, we're going to unveil it. Da, da, da. This right here is this first cupcake layout by Jenny Huford, and when I saw this, I loved it. I loved the clean space. She's a really talented designer, and I thought this will be a good one. I'm anxious to see what Sue comes up with this. So.
Well, you know what really makes this for me is this banner right across here. See how she's actually taken it off the corners as well. It just adds this little whimsical feel to it. It's very celebratory, very festive. It's a birthday after all, right?
Completely.
Yeah, so I totally went with the banner. That's what I scrap lifted.
So you saw that as your inspiration jumping point, and then just walk me through the creative process from there, where you went next.
Yeah, the first thing I do whenever I'm designing is I walk around my office. You know, I mean, I'm fairly organized. It's not always the tidiest, but I walk around and I look at my supplies, I look at my tools, and I see kind of what speaks to me. So the first thing that I saw were my punches. I have a pretty nice collection of punches, and those, if you'll notice on that banner, they were like a little less than half circles on it. And I thought, okay, I've got that. I've got a matching scallop bordered punch as well. So I used that for one. And then this was really fun because I found this paper here. And this is a paper from Making Memories. And it was from last year, so I'm not sure you'll find this exact paper, but almost every manufacturer now is making this like circle paper with a trim around it. So this had these cute little scallops, and I went, oh my gosh, that's a card.
That's a banner.
Okay, so what I did is I cut off all the scallop borders, and before you think that's just a complete waste of my paper, I will make more cute cards with that.
Well, I was just gonna say, I don't think it's a waste because, you know, you and I, we think similarly in this regard. When I see a big piece of paper like this, it's just gonna go on a 12 by 12 layout. I can't justify the $1.50 that it costs for just that one sheet.
If you break down the elements, you're gonna get a lot more out of it.
So I love that.
So what I did is I cut off the entire scallop border, and about every 6 scallops, I had a border. Okay, for that. And I ended up getting a little bit more than 2 cards out of one sheet. And then what we ended up having here is I just took it and I strung it across this pretty little pink background paper.
And I love that you've already kind of got the draping with the circle.
It's already a circle. There's like it's no work.
You didn't have to sit and cut
each
one apart.
This card went together.
It already has the draping.
It went together so quickly, and I'm doing this for my card group that I'm in, so I'll be making 12 of these really quickly. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about this balloon right here. Is that a rub-on?
It's not. Actually, this was printed on the computer, and I've got a really great tip for that.
Okay,
so let me show you that.
It's a Sue tip.
Yeah, I've been doing this for years, and I love sharing it with people because it's just one of my favorite things to do. I call it my cut and print technique. So often we have punches.
Yeah.
Okay, we have die cuts, or we purchase die cuts, or we have a die cutting machine. We have these great shapes, and we want to put a sentiment on it. And usually,
but how do you run that little square through your
we can
printer?
stamp it. We can do rub-ons, but I love using the computer because I'm cheap, and I love the look of that.
But you can customize it.
I can customize it,
Any
exactly.
font, any saying.
Lots of cute free fonts on the internet. I created this in Photoshop, but you could do it in almost every, photo editing software. You could even do something like this in just a Word program as well. So once I have that, I just print it out on a plain sheet of paper like this and position it a little bit lower. And then I've got this balloon die cut. This is from Cricut, but there's, endless amounts of balloon Cricut or die cut pieces.
Yeah.
And then I just take repositional tape. This is the key. You've got to use repositional tape. I use the Hermafex, the Dotto.
Which is my favorite. I love that.
I love it as well. And you're just going to put a little at the top, the bottom, just to tack it down, and then just put it back in the printer, run it through, and to make sure you have perfect placement every time, just hold it up to a light source, and you can tell where it is located on it.
Brilliant.
And I'm telling you, this is just, I do this
So now
all
you
the
can
time.
customize every single die
one,
cut,
and people will
punch.
go, "Where did you get that stamp?" It's mine. I created
Love
it on my
it.
computer.
Okay, that is an awesome tip. And I see that you brought another card
Yes.
that kind of used the same inspiration as the banner. So tell me a little bit about
I
this
needed
one.
a bigger banner. I wanted more banner.
Yeah.
More banner, more cowbell.
Yeah.
So this time I went to these punches. And because I had these two, this ended up being the size. And you just find some coordinating paper that you like. In this case, I've used this from October Afternoon. And find like a few different patterns, usually a finer pattern. Go ahead and punch your shapes out. And then you can kind of see all these little pieces right here that will mix and match. And I cut it not in half, a little less than half, so that we got more of this banner look right here.
And this is brilliant. I love that the little scallops around the edge. You can interchange
You just
them.
interchange
That
it.
is
Do
so
whatever makes you
cute.
happy. Use any paper
That
you
makes me
want.
happy.
And there's a lot of white space here. Let me show you how easy it is to make this card. This is
Okay,
a
I'm
really
ready.
fun card. Okay, so again, I've got another digital element that I created. But by the way, both the birthday one and this one will be on my blog on the 29th. That can be a free download.
So they can just come down and print
Make
it out
as
for
many
free.
cards as they
Score.
want. Yeah. So this one, you'll get 2 cards on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. This is
Okay.
printed on paper, but you want on cardstock. Just cut it in half, and then you're going to fold it, because this is a little pop-up card, a little
Which I
pop-up
love.
card. I like it because then it stands up
And it's
on
a
its
unique
own.
shape.
Yeah. So when it's closed, it's going to look like that. And then when they take it out of the envelope, they get this little fun surprise. It says, "One cannot have too large a party." That's Jane Austen said
Very
that, by the way.
cute.
And you deserve it. Happy birthday.
And I noticed the little streamers, the little string that
You know,
comes off the
I
end.
did. I sewed it a couple of times, and I had the strings. I went, I'm not going to cut that off. I kind of like it, how it's just off the edges
Very
a little
cute.
bit. Yeah.
So great tips. Okay,
Thanks.
so just with the last few minutes that we have, I like to play a little game. I'm going to bring this on. You ready? Okay, I like to do a little Q&A.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to crafting, what do you do when you're in a creative block? Where's the
You know,
first
I
place you
hate
go?
being asked that question because and please don't be mad at me, but it rarely happens. People
Stop
ask
it.
that. People ask me that all the time, and I'll tell you why. I think it's because I think the reason is because I'm continuously doing it. And like, have you ever changed the windows or the door on your house, and like when you're driving around and you notice like all the doors
Yes,
and all the windows?
yes.
So when it's on your mind a lot, you're thinking that way. So I will be at like the state fair and I'll see something, and I'll go, oh, that would be a cute card. So it literally is on my mind.
So it's
all the
constantly just
time.
thinking outside of the box, looking at shapes
Yeah.
and elements.
And so you know what? I think this is a great example of getting yourself out of a block is using an idea book, a card book, a scrapbooking book, a home decor catalog.
Yeah.
I mean, you would be amazed where you can find ideas. Just go through it and go, okay, that would be a cute card. I mean, really, this whole scrapbook page
Would make a cute
reduce
card.
that in size, and you've got a cute card. So that's the answer to my question.
So what is your favorite scrappy treat?
I try not to eat when I'm not answering these the way I'm supposed to, but I try not to because then your hands get like tacky and stuff. I did have jelly.
Cheetos?
I did have jelly
Cheetos not
bellies.
for you?
I will admit I had some jelly bellies on my desk yesterday, and I was like doing the jelly belly thing. Water. I'm so boring.
Water. Okay,
I'm
you're
so boring.
fired. Okay, last question.
Yeah.
What is the one tool that you could not create without?
Oh, my computer. Absolutely. I just love using my computer. I love it because most of us have a computer and a printer. The fonts are free. You know, there's so many, even photo editing software that is free that you can download. So I'm a big free person. I just love things that, and then you can duplicate so many. I just love
Completely. And
being
I
able to create
love
beautiful cards for
what
not a lot of
you've
money.
done is with these cards today is that you've made it accessible for anybody. So all you need to do is go to Sue's blogspot.
Yes.
And what is that again?
SueNeal.blogspot.com.
Perfect. And you can download these projects. And then also, if you're locally, which is a real treat, you can come to Sue's classes. And this right here is an upcoming class that you're doing, right?
It is. It's called Woodland Greetings class. I usually do 4 cards in a class, in a 2-hour class. And even though it is for locals, I actually have a lot of people who order these mail order as well,
great.
and who are just familiar enough to follow my instructions, and they do it. But this card I just wanted to show you. You'll notice that this is another banner too. We've got a bird just kind of, and this was a Cricut die cut.
It just adds a little bit of whimsy.
I do. I think it's just
So
sweet.
check out Sue's website and get some more information on that. And for more great tips and tricks and ideas and to meet some of our other guest designers, you can check out our YouTube channel.